Call the Plan Commission meeting to order. Everybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. The application was withdrawn. I got it. Okay, discussion possible action on a recommendation of the council for an amendment to Municipal Code Chapter 255-75.2, breweries, brew pubs, wineries, and distilleries.
All right, good evening, everyone. So in front of you, you will see a code that you've actually already seen beforehand. This is about breweries, wineries, distilleries taking place in the city. In particular, we're asking for a couple different amendments to it, one of which involves removing the term ancillary from the code. So normally we would limit food service to be ancillary for these uses. However, we're looking to amend that so that people can actually serve food more than just 50% as their primary use. Likewise, we are also looking to amend the permitted use table to allow brew pubs and brewery retail outlets to operate in light industrial zones as well. In addition to that, they would be given the same food service options as breweries, wineries, and distilleries are also allowed to use as well. So, staff's recommending the Plan Commission forward a recommendation of approval to the Common Council.
So was this requested by a number of businesses that this be changed, or how did this come about?
We did receive some inquiries about whether we could amend it or not, so this is going to allow a little more leniency for them.
I'm curious, just on a historical basis, how did American Sky, were they able to operate back in their day? Because they're up where Madison is now.
They didn't have food.
Is that what it was? Oh, okay.
But Kaladi's, same thing.
Right. They had food, didn't they?
Right. And I think at one time might have had beer, wine. So it's been asked for. And
I'll move to approve or to forward on to the Common Council for whatever needs to be done.
I'll second.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. I was just reading, I wasn't texting. But I was just trying to understand this. This is, to me, has been really complicated, and I was trying to process what you were just saying, Randy, about the American Sky not having food. So if you, and what does it say? If it's ancillary to your business, then it must be 50%, or, I mean?
No, ancillary meaning like they would be allowed to serve food as long as it's less than 50% of what they make in income. So it's a lesser use in terms of their primary.
And so, and these guys, Madison Avenue, they serve food, and they want to serve food.
Prepackaged, and, yeah.
And they want to serve food. Where American Sky didn't serve food, and didn't want to.
Correct.
So ancillary, that word kind of screws me up a little bit, because American Sky did allow people to bring food in and cater, right? I mean, I was there for weddings and stuff, and with catered food, is that ancillary to the business? And I'm just trying to, I mean, so much of this is convoluted to me.
Well, my remark at American Sky was more or less in the light industrial park, where that's where they were located. That's why I brought them up.
Right.
Because they were.
Well, that's right where Madison Avenue is. Right?
Right, no, I understand, but
And also, is to prevent somebody from using that as a way of circumventing having to have a regular liquor license.
Right.
We're full.
Right, okay. So, one of the things that I question about this is a broad brush, right? I mean, this isn't specific to the park up there.
Right.
This is a broad brush across the city, where we have made everybody toe the line on food receipts up to this point. And now, because of one establishment, we are going to undo this for all establishments.
I would disagree with you. It's not just because of one establishment. We've lost plenty of businesses, i.e. a golf simulating, because we would not allow this to happen.
And that was.
And I don't want to try, the golf simulator by
the
Ford-
archery range or whatever, or the,
behind Ford, next to Sherwin-Williams.
right, okay, yeah,
We ran into the same problem, and as an operator of a business in town that actually has people asking what to do in Hudson, there's not a lot to do besides you say the river and go visit our restaurants and shops downtown. Where do we send these people? Now, we had a golf simulator, if we had a Cheers Pablo's, for example, those are places that want to offer a beer or a beverage of some sort. Why should we stop that? I don't want to stop that commerce, and I think it gives us another avenue of giving things for our tourists and our residents to do things outside of just going to a restaurant or a bar
okay.
or sit on the river or the interstate park.
So I wasn't arguing against this,
No, I'm just,
but I mean, this is a change, not just for these guys, not just for up there, this is a change for the entire city.
correct. Now, history would tell you, we put it in place, and it was before I even got on the council, that it was in place to stop the beer bars and the liquor bars. That's gone. Hudson's moved past that. We have an established, wonderful downtown and uptown establishments that are restaurant slash bars and grills that people love, and we have some control over if we're bringing in just a beer bar, or something like that.
Tavern.
We've moved on through the years of restricting why we would give a beer license.
We're older now.
We're older.
We have the age of
Sunday's rule,
You and I are older
Sunday's
now.
rules have changed in Minnesota, which has helped offset that kind of,
Yeah, but the clientele has asked for it more so than anything, and so because of that, the bars have had to come around and do what's being asked for.
Sure. Okay.
So what does this mean for so what does it mean for like Hop and Barrel in downtown then? I mean, are they aware of this change?
This would have no impact on them.
no, it would be
Well,
a
but
benefit to
but
them if anything.
But it says breweries and brew pubs, so I'm just wondering if they've been contacted to see if they have an interest in this or
But they don't
not.
serve food.
They allow it in.
They allow it in.
Yeah.
This would allow them to serve food.
Well, this is specific to the light industrial district.
Oh, then it's not
Oh,
over
it
the whole
doesn't
city.
include the
Oh,
downtown?
it is
So
just
it's not a full-
specific to up there?
It's not a full blush across the city then?
The food service discussion was always, the section E is about the light industrial zoning district, and it was previously about it with limited food service, and this is just expanding it to allow restaurant-type usage still in the light industrial district.
Gets
Okay,
them
so
out.
it's not citywide change.
Could be. That's different.
So does that put those that are not in that district at a disadvantage by them not being included in this?
Who else downtown, though, would it affect, other than Hop and Barrel?
But I'm just asking if they've been notified or,
Well,
aware of this.
anybody, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, have they been made notified or aware of it? I mean, does it put them are we putting one business at a disadvantage while we're benefiting others?
So back to your point, would this cover golf simulation business that is not in light industrial?
Not right now.
No, it wouldn't.
Would this cover that?
Well,
No, not
No.
not unless it was up there, right?
well, it's not a brewery, brew pub, distillery, winery,
True.
so it doesn't really
Oh,
fall under the section of code.
But, all right,
But I would be comfortable
but if they wanted to
painting the
serve
brush
beer.
broader to include the hop and barrel.
Sure,
I think you could just tweak this a little bit and then citywide.
To the B2, B3, all,
And then,
Right.
because we're gonna have to do
Well-
it on a case by case basis anyways. If we had issues.
right. So there's an old saying about loving something to death, right? I don't want to love this to death right now. This is for one purpose, and they've been struggling for a while with this issue, and so before we go changing everything, let's take care of this and then deal with the other issue later. Does that make sense?
And I viewed this also as people up in a light industrial, they have nothing to draw on. They don't have the downtown where they can walk next door to the next place or do something, so they have to be self-contained in what they offer. Otherwise, they're gonna lose their customers and their clientele. So in the light industrial, I think this is very appropriate because then it gives the people a reason to stay.
It's been done before
Okay.
with
Or
co
downtown, that's not, it's totally different.
and that's fine. I'm okay with that, but
Anybody, but I would suggest you come back with something
I
to
w-
address the other issues.
yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? We got a motion in front of us. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on a recommendation to the Common Council for an amendment to Municipal Code Chapter 255 zoning to include short-term home rentals and an amendment to Municipal Code Chapter 140 housing standards to update the definition and requirements for rooming houses.
All right, so again, this is another piece of code that we've shown you all before. We're looking to incorporate 4 different types of short-term home rental properties listed as A, B, C, and D. Likewise, we are looking also to update our rooming house terminology in the housing standards chapter of our code. But after a lengthy phone call with our city attorney today, we are deciding instead of, rather than like approving this flat out, that we should postpone until staff has a better draft to put in front of you guys that's more complete. And yeah.
Will it include also collecting the room tax?
Yeah, yep.
So you can have a house of ill repute in the industrial park and have a brewery and serve food. No?
We move backwards?
No, I think it's a good idea until it's completely tight,
Yeah.
how you
Yep.
want it, because it's
Move to
gonna have a big
postpone.
impact in a lot of areas.
We got a motion to postpone.
Second.
A motion and second to postpone. Let me ask this, Tiffany, is this what we have the public hearing set for on January 20th?
We do, yes.
And we're pulling that then, so there-
No, we are going to
We're
move
gonna have-
forward with that, just so
but
we
no
can get.
action.
Right, no action.
Okay. All right. Any other comments,
I just
questions?
want to, if you've been reading the Minnesota papers, they're actually going to the extent in Minnesota on this issue of mailing people their new property tax classifications and saying, here's your new tax rate based on their definition of even summer home properties. If people own a cabin and they're renting it out, all of a sudden it's not a single family anymore and they're going to be taxed at a whole different rate. And the state is just deciding and doing it. I don't know if that's, is that how that works? I mean, do we just, as a city, then just decide, okay, you're doing it? I'm curious. I mean, because I could see how some people would say, hey, what are you doing? I let my cousins use it and I let my neighbors use it, but hey, I'm not renting it out.
Good question.
I mean, issue to think about,
Law of unintended consequences.
Yeah.
you know? Well, anyway, it still has to be resolved because of the fairness to the paying entities, so.
Yep.
Yep.
And the neighbors.
And the neighbor.
So your thought was if it's family-oriented, like cousins are coming and renting the property?
Using it,
Yeah.
maybe not renting it.
Okay.
I don't know if you can pick and choose like that. It's discriminating.
Well, no, I know that, but I mean, that's where do you draw the line?
Okay, so 3M's gonna transfer me out of the area for a year, and my son's gonna come and live in my house while I'm gone.
We'll
Or
charge you double.
I'm gonna rent it out for the month that, for the year that I'm gone, because I wanna move back when I'm done. Right? I mean, that's done in town, that's,
Sure.
that's, it could be an issue.
And
Thorny.
Will this also address if this is their primary residence or not?
Yeah. Yep.
because that's
Well,
an issue
that just
too.
proves we need tighter definitions and more clarification, so
Right, yep.
please do.
Yeah, this one does have the residents. It also discuss, it's more geared towards short-term, which we're defining as less than 29 days. So something like a long-term rental wouldn't fall under this proposed ordinance.
Okay. All right, we've got a motion in front of us. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on recommending the Common Council set a public hearing date for an amendment to Municipal Code Chapter 253 floodplain ordinance to include the downtown floodway study.
All right, so in July 2018, the city directed SEH to perform a floodway study to determine floodway and flood fringe limits in the general floodplain district because these aren't actually delineated on our flood insurance study and flood insurance rate maps. So the study was completed in October 2019, and we received conditional approval from Wisconsin DNR. So it's proposed to be adopted in Municipal Code Chapter 253. Amendment will reduce ambiguity when enforcing the City of Hudson's floodplain ordinance, which we kind of run into sometimes with properties in the downtown area in particular. So staff is recommending that the Plan Commission recommend the council set a public hearing date and forward a recommendation of approval of the proposed amendment all in one tonight.
One question.
Yep.
Could climate change alter, rescind this and make it
And need it to be updated later on.
updated at a future point, something, because the numbers could change,
Right, yep.
as we're already seeing around us everywhere.
Yep.
Okay.
Move to approve what staff recommends.
Public hearing?
Yes.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the public hearing. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's approved. Anybody want to make anything up?
Move to adjourn?
So, what are we waiting for here?
Second?
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.